All right, so we're live here with the Soil Health to Go webinar series, featuring today farmer Dave Tribbett with Twin Maples Farms. Dave is the 2025 Maryland Leopold Conservation Award winner. Really grateful for you joining us today, Dave. All the photos in the slideshow today are courtesy of the Sand County Foundation, so thanks to the folks there for providing those to us.
Hmm.
My name is Pete Walton. I'm with Future Harvest. This program is part of the Million Acre Challenge. The Million Acre Challenge works with farmers to build soil health all across Maryland and the greater Chesapeake region. Our goal is 1 million acres of healthy soil in Maryland by 2030. And this program is a collaboration between American Farmland Trust, Chesapeake Bay Foundation, and Future Harvest. And we do a bunch of things ranging from soil testing to farmer network trainings, practice implementation, and economic case studies. So, Dave, I'll pass it over to you here just to introduce yourself and your farm a little bit. And we've got some different questions to go through, but yeah, take it away and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here.
Yep. So my name's Dave Tribbett. I have been a resident of Caroline County all my life, which is 48 years. Originally, my wife and my four daughters, we reside in Ridgely. The farm is there in Ridgely. We have four chicken houses that we own, and we have four others that we lease with the four that we own. We till about 1,000 acres of miscanthus grass. We're still involved with about 350, 400 acres of row crop that we use for testing different things. But I got, started. My dad was an ag teacher in Caroline County. So a lot of my background started early in life, going to fairs and being around animals, being around farmers, being around that atmosphere, and it really propelled me to really like the ag sector, and that's kind of where I took off from there. So being a young kid, yeah, 3 years old, I climbed. My grandmother and my mom lost me. They couldn't. I was in the yard and I disappeared. Well, they were franticing. They were looking all over for me. Well, they were just giggling up in the combine at my dad's barn. And 3 year old had, I don't know how I did it, but I climbed up in there, and I was sitting in there giggling and ready to combine at three. So
There you go.
my mom told me, she says, I didn't know whether to tear your ass up or hug you. She said, I hug you. I miss you that much. But it's a great, great story. Kind of, you don't know where you're going to go younger years, but those kind of pieces of equipment and stuff just grabbed my mind. And that's where it attracted me towards farming and everything.
That's great. That's a great origin story. It sounds like you were born to do what you're doing.
I guess.
And a lot of people who grow up in farming these days don't stay with it. So it's nice to hear a story where someone has not only stayed with it but expanded on it quite a bit. And you're doing a lot of innovative stuff that I'm excited to learn more about. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, I guess just kind of walk us through. You mentioned a few of the things that you produce and do. What you're doing now and the evolution of how you got there from what the farm started out as. Just curious about that process a bit.
Well, the farm we had originally started in, traditional row crops with poultry. We were presented the opportunity. I was contacted about seeing if we could possibly grow chickens on grass. I remember the conversation when I got the phone call. Uh, what my opinion was, and I'd worked with a lot of integrators and people in the chicken industry. I've been in the industry for 30 years. So I kind of thought about it and was like, well, let's see. I'll try it out. And I went ahead and took 16 acres of not very high productive ground. Looking back, farming at that point in my life, I was losing a lot of money, and I wanted to pinpoint the pivotal areas where I could put a grass and grow it and not give up. acreage for more, mortgages, stuff like that. Just the better the farm. So combine a field around the edge. You go. There's no stalk. You got your wildlife, deer eating it. You have photosynthesis. Your trees are taller, so your light for that plant is not hitting it the adequate amount of hours to produce an ear, which is the energy.
Hmm.
So I was like, I'm not going to keep putting all my inputs in this for to grow a stalk with no ear corn because of limitations. So I was like, I'm going to plant this miscanthus grass along a border of the woods, uh, 40 to 60 feet, depending on which farm it was, and get my crop out to grab more sunlight without having the trees block it. So the first year I was able to grow good grass with less sunlight. So I'm like, okay, I'm onto a crop here that now works good for small fields, just per se, 5, 6 acre fields. Farmers are putting all their inputs in, but they're surrounded by trees. There's not enough adequate light there to really for inputs get your return of investment back out of that. So I started there. I also had blue streams that were in the middle of my farm. So I wanted to kind of be a steward of the land and put a buffer there since we were feeding the Tuckahoe River, the Tuckahoe State Park, ponds and everything. So we started with all those grasses planted there, 16 acres the first year. Um, I kind of went on and the first year I rode by, I'm like, what I don't know how it was going to look. I didn't know what to expect. No one knew what to expect. All I know was I was getting asked what in the hell I was planting. So farmers, I would be stopped and they would like, Tribbett, what are you planting? And I'm like, giant miscanthus grass. Grass? What? And it got their attention.
Yeah.
So I was talking Caroline County for probably about 4 or 5 years, believe me. Um, so I went ahead and chopped. We installed the grass into my chicken houses. I went ahead on my own and did this install, and on my own money, went ahead and installed it. And over time, we were able to see livability, better livability in the poultry houses. So at that point, I knew I was on to something environmentally for buffering and for the good of the industry, the poultry industry, with better numbers, overall mortality. So, um, 16 acres go by. The following year, I go ahead and I plant a little bit more. I took a 30-acre field that was a whole field and planted the whole field. Everything was planted. And that was really my first actual whole field transition into the giant miscanthus grass. But I was going after uh, more grass for contracts. The farm was a low farm. A lot of my corn would fall over with hard winds and stuff like that. So I really wanted to find a hardier crop to put in that area. So I planted that farm, and from there, we started getting really good numbers back. And Mount Air, my integrator started asking some questions on what I was doing. And I've always been one. My dad taught students, so I've always liked the when you have something good to be able to pass that on or to share it, you're really helping a lot more than just yourself out.
Hmm.
So I guess I got the information and I shared it with my integrators. Um, I contacted University of Maryland, University of Delaware. I knew that Dave Tribbett's theory was going to mean nothing to the people that we've reached out now without bringing in these people to work with.
Mhm.
So it required, a farmer who's, they have tough mentalities when it comes to new things. They're can be hard headed. I mean, I'm speaking for myself too. But taking that chance and working with Dean Hively from the United States Geological Survey Group, I wanted to prove to them, once I seen that this crop was growing and it was filtrating water and was not allowing any runoff, that we have to let this be known, just for we're on to something good here in the state of Maryland. Um, so got it going. Livability is better, filtration's better. We come in and we install water paralysis testing within 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 feet, 4 feet deep. Um, and we just sat back and gathered years of data, and the conclusions were way better than what we ever thought. I mean, 98% no runoff. I mean, that's
Oh,
it's a good thing. It's good to know that my fertilizer is not going nowhere.
yeah,
At the end of
absolutely.
the day, it's nice to know when you go put out your fertilizer, you're not losing it.
Hmm.
But it requires bringing in strategic people that are good at their area. So as a team, with the United States Geological Survey Group, all the wonderful people I've got to work with over the years, we've gotten great results back, and we're hoping to share our our findings and all with these young farmers that are coming to start farming. I mean, farming's it's tough if you're not established. You're not going to get started right now. It's just the times are everything's expensive and all. So with this platform that we've used with the our compost, our grass, and all that stuff, it's really turned the corner on future farming and profitabilities for other farmers also in the area.
That's amazing. And it sounds like you've been kind of a pioneer in the area for growing this miscanthus. Do you see other people starting to adopt this as the research kind of encouraged people to start adopting this on other farms in your area, or are you still kind of the main person doing this?
Well, I now that we're established, we've got a good reputation of this thing. This is still new to people. I mean, the bedding of chicken houses up with this grass and all to a scale of 2 million cubic feet a year. It's big. So I like taking areas where we're having issues. In the farm world, we might have an area. Um, for example, I was contacted from the Maryland Environmental Service, and they had dug a gravel pit for the landfill. So in this big hole, once the dirt's you take it out and covered the trash, there was a hole left. So I like projects. So I'll never forget. MES calls me up. They're like, Dave, we have a hole. Can you make something grow again? And I was like, wow, that sounds cool as shit. Let's try this.
Yeah.
So we went ahead, and I went ahead and got a nutrient management plan because I wanted to document of deficiency NPK, deficiency iron, deficiency boron, deficiency pH in this overburdened dirt. We read out a nutrient management plan. We went out there, we spread this compost, and we have miscanthus grass growing where no one thought would grow again. That's the that's
Amazing.
the projects that I love, and then you get pulled into those projects, and when you can hear other farmers' stories of their success, how it's helped them, it just grabs you, and it's very gratifying to me.
Absolutely. That's really interesting. And again, I'm new to this miscanthus thing, but I just reading your story, I was fascinated by it. And would you tell us a little bit about the processing that you've had to, like harvesting and processing and using this in your chicken facilities, what that looks like and what kind of infrastructure that required?
Well, what we'll do is usually around Thanksgiving we'll start checking based upon the year. If we had a very dry fall and dry down, we can usually probably get in the miscanthus grass fields a little earlier, Thanksgiving. If we have a relatively wet year, cooler year, sometimes it's December, January before you get started. But what we'll do is we'll go in and start chopping based upon what houses need to be bidded up, if there's any orders at the time. If not, first of the year we start ag bagging it. We put it in the bag. We're in the fields at the worst time of the year. You don't farm winter time, but we do. It's just part of it. And so our biggest plan is to get the grass off into bags as fast as possible because of our harvest window. I mean, we're starting green up in March. Technically, we got to start fertilizing. So we have a 3 month gap to get everything off bagged at least, and then preparing for fertilizer by 1st of March. Once we chop the grass, once we're ordered, we'll load the material up. We'll take it and we deliver it to the poultry farms that have cleaned their manure out. And the new established grass is installed 4 to 5 inches in the chicken house, and that's what the birds are grown on for the next 3 to 4 years.
Wow. 3 to 4 years. So that lasts a while before you have to replace it. Is that how I'm understanding it?
Yes. I'm experimenting with other ways. I mean, longevity of that is something that I and my company are working on now. Um, possibly even to be able to put in the material that can keep the phosphorus levels and everything elevated at neutral position.
Mm.
So through organic material going in, that's our ultimate plan. I mean, our ultimate plan is to keep the fertilizer here on the shore for the farmers, because if we lose that with the challenges of farming right now, it's not going to be very good. And if we can come up with something that can do that, keep them in business, then we've achieved what we've really started.
So in talking about fertilizer, does miscanthus require a significant amount of fertilizer to get established? Or, I've heard you mention that it retains all that fertilizer on the site, which is huge. What type of inputs does it require to really get going?
What we do is, we here at my compost company, Mid Atlantic, we take in 300 to 400 tons a week of our hatcheries waste system, waste, not just the hatcheries, but the chicken industry. It
Mm.
can come from chicken manure, from the cages, hatchery, shell, yolk, all those things. Some of the stuff from the processing plants. So we will use that, compost it, put it back, and use a minimum of 2 tons to the acre to grow 12 tons of grass.
Wow.
So cost efficiency is very, very good for this miscanthus grass perennial. Main reason I really went into the commercial end of this was, I sat back in 2020, 2021. We had COVID was going on. So as a farmer, row cropping, you kind of hedge your crops and everything. And when you build your expenses in the spring, you figure in your costs. Well, who knew we had COVID coming in? I mean, no one knew. Pops in. There's no manufacturing of Roundup, glyphosate, any of these. So guess what, farmer? You will have to pay double because we've not manufactured. So as someone who's trying to hedge their profitability, you're getting hit with hitting expenses. So I said to myself, this grass is a perennial. I can kick the herbicide guy right in his rear, and he don't need to come around here no more. There was 20% of my profitability by changing to a perennial and not having to buy Asgrow seed, soybean seed, or or corn seed. I mean, so the
Nice.
herbicide example is there. The year before that, our corn goes to $7. So does our corn seed for planting. Well, last I checked, we're back to $4, but we're still paying $7 if we were getting $7 out of the field for corn. I'd love to see my discount, but that's not going to happen. They're not going to bring their price down. So now you have inflation locked in. They'll never come down. That bag of corn seed went up $125.
Wow.
So goodbye, corn seed, man. I have a perennial grass. Goodbye, herbicide, man. I don't have to spray my grass. So I've eliminated now 40%
Wow.
of profitability of a row crop that I was given to middle people in the middle. So the last percent was fertility. So with the compost company, I could make my fertility to not have to buy it. So at that point, I've kicked my nutrient man, all the fertilized guys out. And now I've kept 60% that I would stroke checks for guys that did middle stuff, and I can keep it in my pocket. That
That's
was that was a lot of my push to go ahead and go more commercial with this crop.
that's huge. Yeah. So walk us through a little bit what it's like to establish miscanthus. Is this done from seed? Are you doing a bunch of tiny transplants, or what does that look like?
No, what we do is we pull in a 20-foot planter. My colleagues from Agrotech who got me, they're the ones that called me about growing the grass and everything. When they're based out of North Carolina, so a lot of the grass, the parent grass, everything here, it came from North Carolina. It was dug up. Roots were dug up. They were cut up, split into rhizomes. This miscanthus grass is sterile. It cannot reproduce. This has been one of our challenges. We really getting it to take off even more. So it's planted in a rhizome. There's no seed. What we do is we'll go in, make the bed. We'll work the ground, make it a nice bed of dirt, nice loose. We go in there and then we plant rhizomes about a foot apart, 20 inches apart, in 20-inch rows with a old Spudnik potato planter that was re-engineered. We took a they took a potato planter, ripped her apart, redid this just for grass, and now we have four of them over the United States now. So the crop we had to planting from digging all that stuff. There's a lot that goes with this crop, but I mean we've been 15 years in it, and we're finding more efficient ways. We used to ship it in refrigerated containers and all. Now we're shipping it during wintertime. We do a lot of our planting. Planting's done from fall to March. Usually, if you push the May limit, you're getting a little late with your planting. You're not going to get very much tall. You're not going to get much growth the first year. I kind of favor fall planting and let it sit there. Once that ground hits 55 degrees ambient temperature, that crop will start growing. So if the crop's already there, when it hits the temperature, it starts to grow. So your cubic foot is built on not being behind. So you want to make sure your fertility's done, all that's done. So when it hits that temperature, it starts its growth, and you're not holding anything back from it.
Gotcha. And how you said you've been growing for 15 years or so?
Yep. Yep.
How have you observed it doing in different weather conditions and seasons like droughts and things like that? Is it
When,
fairly resilient?
yep. Yep. When I first planted this crop on one of the farms that is 250 acres planted, I had irrigation on that farm. I've actually taken the irrigation down and sold. Once I planted this crop, I knew I wouldn't. I didn't know, but I was pretty sure we wouldn't have to use irrigation on it. So I took them down, and 2 years ago we had a droughty year. Last year was pretty. We were plenty. We got plenty of rains, but the year before was drier, and I did not see a yield difference in this crop. Um, I was in FFA in my high school years, And land judging, you would, for land judging, you dig down a slope. So I knew we were going to have the governor and our secretary of agriculture, Secretary Addicks, coming to. They wanted to do a tour, so I did that, and that root was down 8 feet deep. So with that point, I was like, wow, now this is true water filtration. I
Mhm.
mean, I was just wanting to show, the root system compared to CRP. CRP, great. CRP has been a great program, but it's old farming now. We have something now that you can divert income off of and root structure 8 feet deep. That you're filtrating at that point.
Mhm.
So all these came upon just using standard practices, and we've learned a lot about the crop. The crop coming here to the shore from North Carolina, when they proposed the yields here, we're probably, I bet we're 40% higher than what they thought. So
Wow.
with that's efficiency. It likes the shore, it likes humidity. Maryland has tributaries everywhere.
Mhm.
So for filtrating the Chesapeake Bay, this is a perfect crop. So working, with other colleagues that are growing grass in the state of Maryland. Is another big grower. He's down towards the shore, John Luthi. He's down towards Cambridge. He's really back here where the saltwater intrusion is issues.
Mhm.
So we're, this crop, we're taking all the hits that Maryland's throwing at us, and we're trying to put it in there to turn and get everything working good and good working. It's just a great crop for the niches that we have here in the state that we're trying to help out.
Yeah, well, I'm amazed to hear of that 8 foot root system. I had no idea it was quite
Yeah.
deep, and I mean, you're definitely not getting that off corn and soy, so that's a massive massive improvement.
I dug the hole, and of course, we had everybody come, from state of Maryland look at this. I mean, it's new. Everybody wanted to see it, so we're like, I'm more than welcome. I'll bring anybody out and show them, what we do. But I put a fence around it. I didn't want the governor falling in there. Well, he was so involved, he got right on down in there in the hole, looking at the roots. So it uh it, it's brought a lot of attention. We're not planning on just the chicken market. I mean, we're making plates out of this stuff in Tennessee right now. We're working with a company that's making recyclable plates out of this grass. So I even have some I can show you if you wanted me to slip back here and grab it.
Ask a little bit more about your poultry operation and what that looks like and the scale that you're working on there.
Poultry operation wise, we're 100 we have 101,000 birds at the home farm. We have 60,000 at another farm. So we have 160,000 birds a flock. We produce about 7 million pounds of chicken meat a year for the market. I think it's like 7.5 million pounds is about our average.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So we're, in the grass, working with this. We've taken with the livability and the better performance in the houses on this grass. We have jumped 3 points better in feed conversion. And when you take, for example, I'm gonna use an example. It used to take, when I started in the chickens in 1995, it was about 2 pounds of feed to be equivalent to making 1 pound of chicken. With our years of working through the industry and the bidding, we're down to like a 172
Wow.
in that to make 1 pound of chicken. That's efficiency, especially when you're trying to feed the world. I mean, this is the cheapest protein right now. I mean, you hear the beef prices, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
it's important that we keep it as effective as we can, and and shows good numbers.
that's amazing. Yeah, that's super important. I know people are very familiar with pastured poultry and the benefits of that, but it sounds like you found a nice way to do this house-based system that's still really efficient and healthy for the birds.
Yes. Yeah.
There's just another picture of that miscanthus. It's beautiful.
Hmm. See, so you see the leaves on there that fall,
Yep.
the leaves that fell. So we chopped the stalk the first year we chopped, and if you notice the very bottom, you see how it balls up the root. It's getting very thick down there.
Hmm.
So what we did to most of your grasses that grow in balls, what will happen is the very center will suffocate.
Hmm.
So what I did was I went in and I used a vertical. Well, I seen the leaves at first, and with my compost company, I worked with the Maryland Environmental Service in 2011, and we tested every feedstock in the state of Maryland, from leaves to pine needles, from chicken manure to cow manure to anything you can think of.
Hmm.
We were working on in vessel composting. That's what we do at Mid Atlantic, my compost company. Um, we were trying to get higher BTUs of heat in the barrel faster. And I harvested my miscanthus. I looked over. I'm like, I want you to pull the pH of those leaves on the ground. We sent them to AgriLab, 6.5 to 6.8.
Wow.
That's probably now one of our main feeds in our compost company is a leaf that I just seen, and I'm like, this is value. I mean, it's a large leaf. So what we do is we chop, we come back, we rake all the leaves in with a merger, and then we come back and we collect all the leaves, and that's one of our dry sources that we're using in the compost now.
Wow.
And we're the only compost company in the nation that is using miscanthus grass leaves in our compost, and it's really helped with uh, our overall product.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
that leaves, I knew it was dry. A lot of the times, keeping consistent feedstock is very important. Once you have made a formula, made a compost, um, locking in those minerals or nutrients for a duration of time is important, because at the end of the day, if you're selling a compost, you're dependent upon these waste streams coming in, so many tons, all that stuff. So a lot of my challenge was getting, the wood or whatever I wanted to use as my heating source, where I knew I did not have to worry about it with having my own leaves.
Hmm.
So it was just a sense of security, knowing that our main heating source to make our compost and improve the soil health came from a leaf that was grown on our farm. So it was very important.
Yeah, that sounds like a huge, huge breakthrough. And tell us a little bit more just about your compost facility. You mentioned kind of the scale of that earlier and what all the stuff you're getting for to make the compost. But yeah, just tell us a little bit more about that and the scale of what you're working with there.
So in 2011, I started really getting into my composting. Starting, I found myself behind economically, um, probably almost three-quarters of $1 million in debt, and borrowing money was not an option at that point. Farming, with going into another risky year and already being 750,000 in debt. So I knew at that point I had to figure out how to farm with trash, I call it, which was the best thing I ever did.
Nice.
Um, I started, different waste streams to build my nitrogen, build my potassium, and these nutrients were just being diverted to a landfill. So I started the company. There was five of us. I partnered. Um, there was five of us that originally partnered up. Two of the guys were the engineers of the in-vessel composters in Texas. Um, Later, they were they got out due to capital calls. I funded this. We all funded this on our own money. We did not go get a grant to start this. Um, I had an idea. These guys had they were partners of mine. We owned farms together. We had a poultry farm, so they kind of seen my vision and backed me. I went to the bank, my Queenstown Bank of Maryland, who I've dealt with all my life, and Tommy Rhodes. I sat down with him. I'm like, Tommy, you know the history of my farm, and I'm struggling. And I was like, I got this idea. What's your thoughts? And the man, he believed in me. I mean, he gave me the loan. So I knew at that point that I could save myself, but how could I take this company to the next level? Meaning, help other farmers that are in my situation. I mean, I that point in my life could have gone two different ways, and I was, thanks to the Lord, a lot of praying and a lot of thought and what I did, I was able to get through that. And if I did not use what I learned to help others in this situation, it can be bad. So I'm just glad that my story is able to prove that, look, you can be in the corner. It took me 7 years. I farmed a negative $125,000 for 7 years because I was not going to go bankrupt. I sat at that table. I signed that note as a man. I was going to get out of it as a man. And I was able to do that. So with that came, I knew that this product would work to grow stuff. Um, it wasn't the greatest smelling thing when I first started. I mean, we're we're taking a lot of things that they were just throwing dirt on top and covering up. Well, there's no smell. Well, I'm sorry. This is the chicken yolk and anything like that. You can only imagine. So the in vessel composting with the grass, it all came in the picture. So the two partners got out. I had two other partners that I just bought out this past year. So now I own the company by myself. And I've had great partners. They've always said that um, I run the company. I've made the company, and they sat back, and I was able to buy them out. So it it was, once you get a product like this working, and you can hear somebody say this, but until it's on paper, uh, it's harder to sell. So I saved myself, but now I've got a company started that I'm bringing in 300 to 400 tons a week. Now, when I
Wow.
first started the company, it was 40 tons. I have books that it kind of reminds me of, how the Budweiser Clydesdales were the way they delivered beer in the day.
Yeah.
I had a open cab tractor with a silage wagon that I transported my compost with to my
Wow.
other farms or stuff like that. Now we have up to 8 to 12 tractor trailers a day rolling out of here.
Wow.
So I'm very humble to where I started. The company came from 40 tons a week to 400 tons a week. But that came with having to sell it also. I mean, I saved myself, but how can I get it into the hands of others? So I knew at that point I had to polish up my sales, which
Mhm.
I've never been good at sales. I never wanted to do sales, but I didn't even want to see the salesman coming across the field when I was trying to plant corn and try to sell me something. So I got into llama beans with Picksweet, and I got to meet a great guy by the name of Jake Mitchell, and we worked on llama beans. And I used my compost because I knew I couldn't give it to sell it to any other farmers. It stunk to beat hell. I had to make it better. So in my early years, I used it on my own crops. Well, I get this I get this call one day, and it's Picksweet in Tennessee, where their corporate office is, and they're like, Dave, what in the hell are you using on your peas? Because you're knocking it out the park. And it was a funny conversation. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, he's really gonna like this. So I told him, I was like, Jake, it's simple. You take your garden, it's 3/10 of an acre, a little section. I said, you just picture this 300-acre farm as a big garden. I said, you would use compost on your tomato plants at
Mhm.
home in your little garden. Why wouldn't you do the same thing out here? So we tried it. Second year came in, llama beans were hitting, and I got a phone call again from corporate pipsqueak, and conversation was, I don't know what you're making, but we need it down here in Tennessee. Is there any way you can get it down here in Tennessee? And of course, logistics just kills all that. Just getting that something, but taking that from them, I knew at that point too, I was on to something. It wasn't just saving Dave's ass from bankruptcy. It was we have something that works and it's resilient. It's new. In 1995, we're doing all these meetings and all. I came across a situation with one of my barrels, and one of my partners says, "Won't you call my buddy that teaches at University of Delaware? He teaches engineering there. Come on out." So he came on out, and we did some changing to the to everything and all, and I was just telling him about it, and it just next thing you know, word spreads, with that, and uh, knowing that you're wanted in other states, it just you're on something good. So getting it out to the other farmers was our big thing. So Jake would call me from Pick Sweet and say, "Hey, I have a struggling farmer down lower into the shore. I Send me his number, Jake. Send me his number." So I'd sit there, and then it'd be Billy Bob, and then is Billy Bob's cousin the next week that calls about this compost he'd heard about. So it's sold like that. Thank God. I didn't have to go around knocking on doors and everybody saying, "Oh, here comes that damn salesman again trying to sell me some snake oil or something like that." So it went like that. We, we were able to be recognized from our compost to get certified, get cost share for farmers now. There was a carbon amendment program that came out through USDA, and we nailed that criteria. So now it's like, go talk to your soil conservation office. You
Mm-hmm.
get signed up for this program, and they're going to pay you to use this. This is your cost share
That's
in
awesome.
helping these farmers.
Awesome.
So, it's I get emotional a lot about it because I do like help other people succeed, and it's something I've always enjoyed doing. It worked for me.
Yeah.
Um, it saved my life. I mean, it did a lot, and I like making sure other farmers are aware. The circumstances that sometimes we all don't mean to get ourselves into farming,
Mhm.
but there's there's people out there, and there's other farming techniques out there that can help. And it's a that's why I find it very passionate myself.
Well, I really appreciate your passion and sharing the whole story of that. And yeah, I mean, that's what it's really all about is helping other people succeed. And it's part of why we're doing this webinar to, pass on the lessons you've learned and hope to inspire other people. And I'm sure hopefully people will reach out to you after hearing this and want to know how to use your compost. And I love the way you framed, treating your whole huge farm as a garden. To me, that's kind of how I've always looked at farming. It doesn't matter the scale, but if you're doing the right practices, that's what it's all about. So appreciate that context and the story. And
Yep.
it is emotional. I mean, anybody who's a farmer knows it's an emotional roller coaster every season and going through the financial pitfalls and all that. And it sounds like you've just really stuck with it and been able to create something pretty amazing.
Well, once you have one farmer and you hear his success stories, you're ready for another one. I mean, that's how I guess our growth as I mean our growth is it's weird because we I've almost built my company from the ass end forward, and then a lot of the compost companies don't have the means of moving their compost. With me, I built that, and now our company's building off of we're selective on what we take in. We're not just taking any kind of trash thing. At the end of the day, our name and my reputation's on the line. So um, we take a lot of pride in that at Mid Atlantic, and we want to keep this success. I like hearing success stories from other farmers. I mean,
Hmm.
there's tough times right now, and if there's anything that cost share can help out with costs and all, it's important that we take advantage of that. And
Absolutely.
um, myself and a lot of people have put 15 years into getting to this point right now, and I'm really hoping it takes off. And we have multiple cameras going on with other farmers in the next couple of years that are in the same situation that I've been lucky enough to get into.
Well, that brings me to one of my some of my future and legacy questions I had for you. What do you hope that other producers take away from your story that can help them succeed on their farms? You had to distill some of your lessons for other farmers.
Don't get discouraged. I mean, sometimes the financial burdens can be very discouraging, but there are other ways. There's other alternative fertilizers. When I got back to 1995, when CNH Capital, when that engineer came, he said that he told me that CNH Capital, who is your major tractor, Case International, and all, tried in-vessel composting and could not get any farmers to bite on it. If they had taken this and ran with it right now, they probably have they'd own a fertilizer company instead of rid tractors. To tell you the truth,
Mhm.
uh, but it's the point that how do we get to that point? And uh, I had to kind of be the guinea pig and try this out. I didn't. I had to. It was different. I
Right.
had to,
Right.
and it worked. And CNH Capital didn't possibly have to do that. I mean, they're standing pretty good as a dealership, but they just with me, I took the initiative. I tried it. I passed on to other farmers, and that's why I don't see this going anywhere anytime soon. Neither does USDA if they're opening programs for this. So um, I'm glad a bad situation turned into a good one.
Absolutely. I am too. I'm glad to be here sharing all this with you. And so what's next for your work with your farm and your conservation work? It sounds like you've grown a lot and had a lot of huge projects. Where do you see it going over the next few years?
So we're in process now. We'll be in North Carolina here with our second company in mid late March, April. We're in process down there. Our one of our waste stream companies is down there, and they're bigger than they are here, and they want us down there. So uh, it's starting everything over again. The nice part is in North Carolina, I have grass that's already there. So all the parent grasses are already there. So getting back to building the company from the rear, I'm going down there to take this, make my compost company, fertilize their grass, get them up to more than 500 more cubic feet an acre in yield, improve their economics by probably about $250 an acre. And then from there, my farmers will start coming. So uh, that's our next project. Mississippi is not far down the line. I've had um, Mississippi fly in, University of Mississippi fly in with wanting us to pretty much do the same thing down there for helping their farmers out and all.
Wow.
So it's
So you're not slowing down at all. You're keeping it moving and spreading the good.
yes, yes,
Right
yes.
on. Right on.
Yep,
Well, I love to hear it.
yep.
That's exciting.
It is. It is.
And I wanted to ask you about, winning the Leopold Award for conservation. What has that meant to you, personally and professionally? That's a pretty big honor.
It it means that all the time, the blood, sweat, and tears that not just myself did, the group of people from the United States Geological Survey Group, all the different people that came in. It was our mission. I mean, we knew we were on to something, and it's like I told him that when I received my award. Uh, it, there's no I in team.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, and thanks again to the Sand County Foundation for linking us up and allowing us to use all these images for the slideshow. Just wanted to give another appreciation to them. And Dave, I know you wanted to mention before we wrap up here a event that you're having on your farm sometime in May. Was that correct? I think we talked about that.
Yes, well, we're shooting now for June 11th. It kind of marks my 15 years of being in this that I have on paper. Put it that way. Thoughts were before then, but so we're going to invite different. recipients that have won the Leopold Conservation Awards through other states and everything to come into Maryland. We're going to do a tour, kind of take you through the compost company, a quick tour, show you where we pulled our water testing. I'll probably do another land judging slope again to see the root system and all, and teach other farmers on growing this. Uh, you know, the plates that are made out of miscanthus grass. This is all
Oh,
made
wow.
out 100%. So we're
Wow.
not just going to be bidding up chickens. We want to be putting chicken on here. So that's going to be jobs. It's developing the market. So uh, I'm hoping there's biofuels that are coming off of this. There's so many good things coming off this crop that we're just getting started. So it's hang tight. It's going to be interesting the next few years, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I'm very excited to follow along, and we'll definitely, as you nail down the details for that event, Future Harvest and Million Acre Challenge will absolutely promote that, and I'll definitely be there. I'm excited to check out what you're doing.
That's good. That's good.
So
I invite anybody. I mean, it's going to be a great day. We're going to do a luncheon. It's going to be a whole day. I'm going to get the United States Geological Survey Group, Dean Hively, there to speak on behalf of those and of them. We're going to do a few things nice, make it a nice day. Hopefully, we can do hay rides and make the whole farm theme for everybody great. So if the weather cooperates, we'll be fine. But we're really looking forward to that day.
right on. Well, I'm looking forward to it as well. And anything else you'd like to share with the audience here before we wrap up? You've covered a lot of good stuff here, so
Uh, uh, don't feel like if you're in the corner, there's ways of working out. And we at Mid Atlantic are always here. If there's questions, someone's starting to get into composting and all, we'll be more than glad to help you out. And keep the farmer profitable. That's the main key here. I mean, they feed the world, and if they're not successful, then we're none successful. And it's important.
well, thank you very much. That's great advice. This has been super inspirational for me, and I'm looking forward to getting this up on YouTube for other people to see. Just for
Mm-hmm.
the audience here, here's some more information on the Million Acre Challenge if you want to follow along
Mm-hmm.
with us. Different
Yep.
social media. I'll make sure to, when I upload this, have, some more information about you and how to get in touch with you.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping to put this out every second Wednesday of the month, so stay tuned. And Dave, thanks again for your time. Really great talking to you, and look forward to hearing more and follow along with what you're doing.
Yep. You got my number, so give me a call anytime. You need to follow up with anything else. I'm always around.
Right on. Well, thank you so much, and have a great one. Take
Yep.
care.
Thank you, Pete.
Yep.
Take care.
All
Mm.
right.